Hello and welcome to Infamous, the audio podcast. This is Brandon, or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker, go by One Who Parks on Discord.
This is Josh, go by Grumozog on Discord.
So, I don't know if you guys listen to other gaming podcasts. Do you?
Yes, I have one that I specifically listen to. But it,
Do you
what do you
have
mean?
it-
Like gaming?
Do,
Like just
do you
take
have any
topic?
that the intro is always like really the same every time? Like they don't really change it up at all?
No. Actually, the one I listen to, the intro is like different. I think every single time.
Okay. So I used to listen to Muse on Minis back in the day, and for a long time, you're like, man, like Keith, the guy who's doing the intro, like says it the exact same way every time, and then after like a dozen or so episodes, you realize like, oh, it's just a pre-recording of the intro. They just cut it in, and so like, okay, that makes sense. But like, that's also because I have an audio editing, I guess not background, but like I have experience in it because of our podcast.
I'm
Yeah.
picking
And
up what you're
so-
putting down. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was just funny to me that like other people didn't realize that it was a recording. And so there's like, and it's usually like 1 in 10 people don't realize, but they usually don't think about it either, else they probably would. But there's one guy that sent in like a fan question is like, hey, I just wanted to give props to Keith. He does such a good job of the intro. It sounds like the same every time. And then there was like an episode not too long after that he's not on the episode, but he does the intro. And so he's like, did he just call in for the intro and then leave?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, no, it's recorded. And they like pierced the veil and everybody was sad. So
Aww.
it was funny. Anyway, I just thought, I always think of that when I'm doing it. 'Cause sometimes I'm like, I bet I could get it so close that people think it's recorded. But then also sometimes I just don't care. So how have you guys been this week?
Good. Very busy.
Nice.
I think, like I mentioned before we started recording, I'm in a bit of a video game slump, trying to find something that interests me. So,
Oh,
Other
I've
than
had
that.
exactly the opposite problem this week.
well, I finally figured out. I was like, because I have a PlayStation 4, but like I've basically bought everything I want to play on Steam, and forever I've been debating like, okay, do I want a PS5 controller or do I want the newest Xbox One? Like, I've read rumors of a new Steam controller coming out. Like, what's going to be the best one? And then I was like, why don't I just buy a cord for my PlayStation 4 controller and use that one? Like, why buy a
I'm
whole
pretty sure
new
we talked about
$80
this last
controller?
week.
Probably.
Yeah, we did.
But I've got a bunch of games that I want to play, like God of War and God of War Ragnarok. But I need time because I really want to devote myself to those. So,
I have so many games I'm playing right now. Like, the list is so long, and I love it. Like, it's only good because all of them will have like days when I'm done with them. But I just realized today my queue is right now. At the top of it is Assassin's Creed Shadows came up with an expansion, so I'm playing that. And when my friends are playing, I'm playing Borderlands, which is a really fun game to play with friends. And that's it. I found out Borderlands is basically it's a first-person shooter version of Mario Party. Like, it's just
Mhm.
it's tons of fun to play with a bunch of people, and not very fun at all to play by myself. But that's how I feel. And then I'm still playing Division 2. I realized that Monster Train 2 just got an expansion, just popped an expansion. I haven't played that yet, so I'm excited to do that. I just found out that Hogwarts is now on Game Pass, and so I can play that for free. So that's on my list.
Mhm.
And I still have yet to freaking play the PC game I bought over the summer. And oh my god, I'm making a Gloomhaven. I have to play Gloomhaven. And
You're never going to play it.
I am.
It's just not going to happen.
I am going to play
It's
it
not
one
going to
day.
happen. You will not.
I
I forbid you.
Also, on October 10th, which is like 9 days from now, Marvel Rivals is putting Daredevil out, and I have to try Daredevil, and so I'm going to play Daredevil when he comes out, and I don't care because it'll be really fun to play with Daredevil in that game. I think
How often do they release characters?
fairly often, like at least two
Okay.
at least 2 new ones. I think the very first one first season they did 4 because they did the whole Fantastic Four, and now they've been doing 2 every season. So one release
How
at the
long's
start
the
of the season.
isn't
I
Angela
wanna
coming with Daredevil?
Angela came out at the beginning of the season. They usually do one
Gotcha.
character at the beginning of the season and then another character at the midpoint of the season. And I think the seasons are like 3 months long, I want to say, something like that.
Okay. I was just surprised because it seems like every time I turn around, somebody mentions that there's a new Rivals character out. I'm like,
Yeah.
God damn. Like, slow
Yeah,
down.
I think it's about every month and a half-ish there's a new character, I think.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that because I haven't. Like I said, I played Fantastic Four season a lot, and then my friends stopped playing, and so I kind of fell off of it. So I never played Blade. I've never played Angela, and I think there's another character I haven't played. But I want to play Daredevil. He looks badass, and I want to hit people with batons. He's just, he looks fun.
Cool. I think my biggest problem is I don't have large chunks of time again. I've gotten busy again lately. And so I don't have enough time to devote to really settling into a game. I have like 30 minutes to maybe an hour at a time. And so it's just like, well, I could play a video game, or I could just like go ahead and start on the thing I need to work on in 30 minutes anyway. And so I've kind of been doing that a lot, which has resulted in me getting a lot of backlog done, but has not resulted in me playing a lot of video games.
That's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I have a lot of stuff I want to get painted.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in another reading kick. And so it's like, okay, I could sit there and play games, but I'm like, I've been doing too many like strategy games, and I want a good like devote myself to a story-driven RPG sort of thing, and that requires commitment. You got to play it constantly and do the things and beat it. So,
Parker, have you actually tried Hogwarts yet?
No, like I just found out. I think it was just released this week, like. Literally yesterday is when it was put on the Game Pass. So I have.
Did you see the Game Pass price increase, Parker? Does
No.
that matter to you?
It doesn't matter at all.
I think it like doubled.
Money goes in, money goes out.
I think it's $30.
It's $100 a day now.
Yeah, it's $100 a day.
Like, okay, hold on, maybe it matters.
Wait. No.
Unbuy Bitcoin.
Unbuy Bitcoin. Yeah, I have not looked. I'm sure they sent me a warning or something, and I probably just went, okay. But,
you're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I play so many games. I also play so many games for free
like
on it. Yeah. Like if I didn't use it at all, I would do something about it, but I absolutely do. So
it's like Netflix versus Blockbuster. It's like when you stop and think about it, like how much money you used to spend at Blockbuster for such a worse service that you're just like, does it really matter? Like with inflation, I would be paying like $100 a month to Blockbuster right now. Like, fuck off. Like,
right.
It's like, so you just look at it now, you're like, yeah, oh no, Netflix is $12 a month, whatever the fuck it is. Like, who cares? Mm-hmm. You can watch so much more content than you ever could before. Mm-hmm. It's like, I totally am for the people that are like conscious of subscriptions. You should be. And like cycling through different subscriptions instead of having just all of them active all the time is definitely a smarter way to do it. But like people that freak out over like $1 a month, I'm like, really? Are you that upset that it's $1 more for the thing you want? Like, just be conscious on how you spend your money, and like, it's fine. So my recommendation, Parker, is when you get into Hogwarts, there's going to be a lot of side quests, and just warning you now that you'll be like, all right, so all I'm going to do is walk to the end of this hallway. That's my quest, right? You'll get 3 new side quests by the time you get to the end of the hallway, and you're like, I guess I'll go do this one. And then you will get down such a rabbit hole of you're like down there mopping the dungeons. You're like, I get quest points for this, right? And you're like, no, stop it. Like, just do the thing you were supposed to be doing. Because if you want to, like, 100% the game, you can do that. But, like, there's literally hundreds and hundreds of things you can do.
So
that have nothing to do with the story.
That's what actually broke me. I just looked it up, and I had 67.8 hours. And like that's one character going like through
12%
doing this stuff. I'm probably like 60 to 70%, but I was trying to perfection it, like get all the achievements, do all the things, and I finally like hit a point where I was like, I'm really fucking tired of running around looking at a map online to check against the things that I need to 100% this. And it was like, it is fantastic. Maybe that's what I'll do is I'll go back and finish.
Yeah,
Hogwarts.
I started
because it's good. I liked it.
Yeah, no, I think it's a really good game. It's definitely got some holes, but overall it's very good. I like the game a lot. I have 84.8 hours in it. I've got 24 of 45 achievements. I have no idea how that goes into like progression of the game. But like, the one thing I really tried to do is I wanted to get all the Merlin trials done. So I did all that. Then I started doing. I got all of the flu powder network stuff done, and that was pretty easy. But mostly it just makes travel time faster. And so I started going around and doing little stuff, and then, like, as you unlock like different levels of like lock picking, you can go back to all the places you've already been and find new secrets. And so I started doing all that, and the one thing I really wanted to do is get the book 100% because you have like a goal journal that you can go through, and there's so many things in there. I was like, all right, I just want to get all that stuff done. And I started doing it, and it was like, fuck me, there's like, I can't figure out which ones I've done and which ones I haven't. So you can't just look up what to do next because it doesn't know which ones you've done. Because let's say there's like 5 of something in this section of the castle. Well, I have 3 of them. Well, I have no idea which 2 I don't have. And so it's very difficult to go through and like just like click button your way through it. You have to actually like find everything. I don't have that much time right now, but I want to go back and do it.
Yeah, I think I'd go back and give it a good like I probably could do another 60 hours of just running around doing stuff and knocking it all out. So
I'm pretty sure.
But it feels like they did a really good job. People had some complaints, but it did a good job of feeling like you're in the Harry Potter world.
Yeah. No, I was impressed at how good it was.
My wife is a huge Harry Potter fan, and she and I were re-listening to the books because reading them is kind of a slog because they're definitely meant for a younger audience. And as we were re-listening to them, we are having an absolute blast listening to them again. And I've considered asking her if, since now she plays TCGs, would she be willing to play a video game? It might be a step too far, but
my buddy's wife, who does not play video games, played Hogwarts Legacy and did like 100 hours in it.
Yeah.
Like he would come home from work and she's like, hey, yeah, I just kind of like made something quick for dinner. It's over there. And then would just go back to playing PlayStation on the couch. Yeah. Like she was fully absorbed into playing Hogwarts Legacy. What's your house? What house are you, Parker?
Oh, always Gryffindor. And whenever I say it, I feel like, my favorite color is also blue, and I want to say orange just so I'm not basic, but I'm sorry. My favorite color is blue. I love the fucking color blue.
I don't think you should apologize for your favorite color being blue. I do think you should apologize for liking Gryffindor.
I don't like Gryffindor. That's the point. I don't like it. I don't like Gryffindor. I just am Gryffindor.
Yeah. I don't like it. I fucking love Gryffindor. Parker rips his shirt off. He's got a Gryffindor.
If I was in Hogwarts, there would be no fucking chance I'd be in anything else. That is the only one. And it really is. It's just 100%. And I know it is super basic, and it feels like a cop out because Gryffindor is just the main character's house. I swear I don't think I'm the main character. I know that's what would happen. I've taken every version of every test you've ever taken because my students often would like ask me to do them because they found out I was into Harry Potter, and the most official ones on Pottermore and then the random junk on the internet, and I always get the same result.
But which one is your favorite?
Which one is my favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, Ravenclaw's my favorite. Like all of my favorite characters are from Ravenclaw. But my favorite character list is almost entirely just Luna Lovegood because she's my favorite thing.
She's crazy.
Yeah, I love Luna so much. But yeah, almost all of my favorite characters are from Ravenclaw, and so Ravenclaw is my favorite house. That's a house. I'm really excited to actually play the game because I would like to explore the other houses because I feel like in the books you get to know something about Slytherin and so gobs about Gryffindor, but you never really get to experience the other two very much, or at least in a detail that I would prefer to feel like I understood how Hogwarts worked. And so
I think there's only one scene in all of the movies that takes place in the Ravenclaw dorm.
Yeah, but it's at night.
I don't think there's any that do Hufflepuff.
No, the Hufflepuff is zero. In fact, there are some important characters in the Hufflepuff house in the books, and there's just not enough time to put them in the movies, really. So there is not a single Hufflepuff other than a group of people wearing black and yellow robes being shuffled away from a chaos, right? Like that's the only time you see it. Even like a goddamn Quidditch match against Hufflepuff, like would be wonderful to watch, but I don't even know if you get to see one of those. So
yeah,
Oh, Hufflepuff
Like
is
it's a
definitely
big deal in the books when they finally get somebody in their house that isn't worthless,
Yeah.
and they finally get Cedric,
Yeah.
and it's like such a big deal. It's like, we're not the worst.
Yeah.
Fine, they're like the Cleveland Browns of houses. Like,
They
they're
are
like,
the
finally,
Cleveland
we have Miles Garrett. We're good now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, and the book gives him like tawdry mention, like everyone, all the houses are noble in some way. But some are more noble than others. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Somehow,
we have
I think,
one house at this school of children that puts out evil wizards consistently.
well,
Let's
it's
continue to fund this
intentionally.
education.
yeah. What's funny is all of them have this really intense. Like Rowena has this really cool backstory, and Godric has this really cool backstory, and Salazar has this really cool backstory. And what the fuck does the Hufflepuff? Is it woman, I
Helga's
think?
just like, running an inn, just like making food for people.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you're a great mage. I don't know.
She's just right there, and you're like, she's there, man. Look at her being there. Like you're just like, oh, I think it's a woman actually, isn't it? I think it is, but
Yeah, Helga.
yeah, that's it. But I feel super bad that.
Well, I mean, it's not intended to be like an even distribution. There's really
Sure.
only two houses. It's Ravenclaw and Gryffindor. And there's basically the attention seekers in Gryffindor, and then the smart people in Ravenclaw, and then there's the psychos in Slytherin,
Yeah.
and then the people that can't cut it in any of the other three houses in Hufflepuff. It's like, it's intentionally lopsided, right,
Yeah.
for young readers.
I also like
so-
that Slytherin has like the dichotomy of either like, hey man, you're a pretty good wizard, or you're basically hired muscle. Like those are your only two career paths. You're either working for the smart wizard in your class, or you are the smart wizard.
It is
Like,
true.
It just
that,
comes
like,
with inbuilt cronies.
It is true that Crabbe and Goyle are just like super dumbasses. Like, and
Yeah.
they're like, it is
They're
odd that
bouncers, yeah.
the Slytherin is known as this like noble pureblood house where high wizards go, and then they put fucking Tweedledee and Tweedledum in there. It's clearly the
Yeah.
place for them. You're right. It's so they can have hired muscle in their student body.
Yep.
I never thought about it that way. That is wonderful. Like, why do you put henchmen in Hogwarts? It's fucking wonderful. Oh shit. How do they pass a class, right? Like, how do they? Like, they talk
It's
about.
just like you're in the SEC. Like, you get the sport class where it's like you have to
But
someone coaches you on your test so that you
Yeah.
can get a C plus and move on.
it's funny
Like-
they talk about the tests at the end of every year are such big deals, right? They're like
Yeah.
they're cutthroat and they're very difficult. Like the characters, there are whole chapters devoted to their study process, right? And like it's a
Sure,
big,
but don't you remember in the books where like the Slytherins get huge preferential treatment from the Slytherin professors?
that's true.
And so
So they
like
just get
like
passed.
the OWLs and stuff, like that's like getting a degree.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't get you kicked out of school if you fail them, right? Like it's just
Right.
like you get certificates. And so like you could be a complete idiot and just have your homeroom teacher basically pass you through everything, and you just kind of like get No Child Left Behind into being a wizard.
That is true. They're basically like that is funny. And you're right. They do mention about how like Snape just gives people passes and just talks about how
Yeah.
great the Slytherins are.
It's like I was like there's several times like how are Crabbe and Goyle passing their classes? Like, well, Snape's their professor, so
Right.
like they just
Yeah.
they're good. Like,
Yeah.
and then Harry's failing because he hates him.
I can coming from a public school system, I can't imagine doing that. Like I can't like it doesn't even occur to me, even being a teacher for nearly 20 years, it doesn't occur to me to just be like, I like that guy. See? Like I know that must happen, right? That in a classic school, in
it
a
just
private
doesn't
school, it
happen-
absolutely happens, but
It doesn't happen for the reasons it happens in real life, right? Like in
Yeah.
real life, it's because you either know somebody or you're on the football team,
right.
and then it's like the teachers know you can't give like a varsity kid like a D, like you have to give him a C, or like you're gonna have a loud conversation with the coach. Like it's just not worth the
Oh,
headache.
you could be ostracized by the community. Like it's not just the coach. The coach probably doesn't have to say a goddamn thing, right?
Yeah.
You
All of a
could,
sudden, you start getting like speeding tickets on the way home every day, and you're like, this is
Exactly.
great.
like depending upon the community you're in, you could be completely ostracized. Yeah,
Mhm.
That's true. So it's just a different reason, and
Yeah.
you got to have those henchmen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, they're literally getting orders from the Dark Lord, so we better,
You're right.
like, you know,
Yeah.
like, we don't want the Dark Lord to give me a speeding ticket. God forbid this guy who can't take over a fucking high school comes to my house. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
This guy who can't take over a fucking high school.
Yeah.
It's just the secondary school, and he just can't do it. Their principal is a badass. How does he do it? Oh man.
Okay.
I saw a video today that I didn't click on because it was such bait, right? But the question was interesting. The internet understands me. The video was why are Voldemort and Dumbledore so much stronger than every other wizard? And I know why Dumbledore is, but why is Voldemort? And so I almost clicked on it. I went, nope, this is just clickbait. It's going to be a bunch of AI slop. It's going to be somebody talking in a monotone voice that sounds a little bit human, and a bunch of AI-generated pictures of Dumbledore and Snape flashing in front of me in 3-second increments. Like, I didn't click on it. I didn't feed the beast, but the internet tried. They really did.
Okay. So I played my first game of The Old World this week.
What'd you think?
I've officially changed my name in Discord to Ever Victorious, Never Beaten Brandon. It's never going to happen. I'm never going to lose a game. It's going to happen.
Win once, quit playing
I should
games.
probably clarify, I did not win the game. I just didn't lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
My opponent had a strict time allotment that we exceeded, so he had to leave. But yeah, it was very fun. I enjoyed it. It was very much as I remembered. There are some random archaic things that are just you have to deal with because you're playing with squares and not circles.
Yeah.
And so there's some weird stuff like that. The magic is very different than I remember, which is, I think, a good thing. It felt very much like rapid fire, throw shit at the wall, see what works, as opposed to 8th edition, which was, did you roll doubles on your 6 dice? Well, I guess you win this game, and we can go on to the next game now.
I summon the sun. Your
Yeah,
army
I summon the
stops
sun,
existing.
And then I spirit bomb it at you. What do you do? It's like, what?
Isn't
What do I do?
that what the Slan
It's the
did?
sun.
Didn't the Slan frog priest like literally summon the sun? Isn't that one of the things they did?
The strongest Slan priest, which was a dead Slan priest, he had been dead for like 1,000 years.
Yeah, I remember his
and
model.
it's Lord Croak.
Yeah.
He's just a mummified frog, which apparently is a thing in the old world.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a spell called the Ruination of Cities. And so if you cast it, you can imagine it basically just creates a massive earthquake on your opponent's side of the field, and that's bad for the people on that side of the field. It did just crazy damage. But the character was like 600 points or something, and like you had to successfully cast the spell still. And I don't know. Well, anyway,
in the lore, they did pull the planet closer to the sun, and then rearranged all of the continents. Because that's why the Dwarf Empire collapses. Because the Slan are like, yeah, this tablet says we should rearrange the continents. And it just causes like massive earthquakes and collapses every known civilization. Like
you
don't do that. It's bad.
Yeah, yes you do. You know.
But yeah, so in like, I want to say like 5th and 6th edition of Warhammer Fantasy, spells were very basic, very minor. Like, you would have a lot of like basic spells. That would be like Magic Missile would be like 2d6 hits at strength 4. So it would wound most things on 3s, and then you get like -1 to your save. The coolest lore of the old lores, in my opinion, was the lore of Metal, whose it never allowed armor saves, and its to wound roll was always your armor save. And so if you cast on somebody with a 5-up armor save, it wounds them on 5s. You cast on somebody with a 3-up armor save, it wounds them on 3s. And on d6. And so it's a really cool mechanic. It's basically, I'm just successful armor saves equal you take damage as opposed to don't take damage. And it's just a really cool mechanic they did. It's more powerful against heavily armored opponents because it's the lore of Metal. Makes sense, right? Like, that was just really cool to me.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of other stuff that would like affect morale and things. But it was pretty basic stuff. Like, usually your magic phase would maybe kill a half dozen people and, you know, maybe put up like a little wall of fire or something silly. Then we got into like 6th and 7th, like later editions, like you could have a little bit stronger magic, like better buff spells, better debuff spells. But in 8th, they wanted magic to feel like half the game. And so they went way over the top, and there were spells like Dweller's Blow, which is I target a unit, every model of that unit takes a toughness test. So you roll 1d6. If you roll above your toughness, you fail. 6s always fail. Every model that fails dies. And you're like, what?
Whoops.
And so it was just crazy. Like, you cast on a tough 3 unit, and just half of them die. And so it's one spell casting. One of the meta things you would do is you would take in the Lore of Death, I think it was, the Purple Sun of Xeris, and it just creates a 5-inch template in base with the spellcaster. Then he points in a direction, and you roll an artillery die, which is a d6 times 2. It moves that distance doubled in the direction you chose. Every model it comes in contact with makes an initiative test. If it fails, it dies. So you would have a caster with fly, which means you could move 20, because you could fly. So you just fly to their side of the table, and you cast Purple Sun and throw it down their line and on the first turn before they've gotten to go. And so basically you just roll up, you try and use a power scroll. So if you roll doubles, it's an unstoppable spell. Your wizard will probably explode, but who cares? And so you just Kamehameha this beam down their line, and you play against someone like Tomb Kings. Highest initiative in their entire army is initiative 2 on their general. And so basically you just kill their entire army with this fucking stupid spell crap. And so it was really frustrating. There's also the Foot of Gork, which is really cool. After it resolves, you roll a d6. On a 3+, it happens again. And you just keep going until you fail. And I watched the first game that somebody cast Foot of Gork irresistibly, and he killed like 75% of his opponent's army because he just kept making the 3s. And so Magic was the game, right? Your troops were only there to protect your spellcasters. And so we're in this kind of in-between where there is a lot of spells you cast. Basically, investing in wizards just gives you a bunch of spells. The more wizards you get, the more spells you get, right? That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But the spells are definitely less powerful than they were in 8th, but they're probably more powerful than they were in 5th and 6th. And so it's interesting. I think it's in a much better place than it was at any point that I played, but obviously I need more experience.
I know I have 3 wizards in my nomadic wall list, so...
Yeah. I went in with, I had a Vampire Lord who was level 2 wizard. I had a Master Necromancer at level 4, and I had 2 Apprentice Necromancers at level 2, and then I had 2 Corpse Carts that were level 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a bunch of casters. I think the Corpse Carts are probably not worth taking 2, probably just going to take 1 in the future. I really liked the level 4 wizard. He was really good. I totally forgot my vampire was a wizard, so he never cast a spell. That was not great.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. We also forgot fear the entire game. We forgot to do fear for everything, and so that was not great, but that's my bad. But yeah, the summoning was very good. Having that many people who can resurrect is really good. He kept throwing... He's playing goblins and orcs, and he had a bunch of shooting attacks. He had the Doom Diver. He had a big unit of Night Goblin Bowmen. Then he had, I think, 2 wizards that were throwing vortexes and magic missiles at me. And my 3 necromancers was more than enough to completely reduce his attrition to nothing. And that was actually raising zombies every turn. So it was actually netting models crossing the table at him. So he clearly had to come at me at that point.
Yeah.
I definitely mispositioned my big blocks of troops because I had big units of zombies that were 30, 40 man units of zombies. And I kept tripping over myself because I didn't plan out very well. And so in hindsight, I probably should have done that differently. I'll just know that for the future.
Yeah, I think I've got a wolf shaman to put my wolves, then an orc shaman on boar, and then I saw a cute little thing on, I think on a Facebook group or something, and you put a level 4 goblin shaman on a chariot, and you give it the red ring of ruin, or ruby ring of ruin, so it gains fireball. And there's one other item on there, and you just do drive-bys. You just have a fucking guy on a cart driving around them, just going fireball, fireball. I was like, well, that seems pretty fun. So, but I'm excited to get a game in when I can. I need to actually read the rules instead of just reading all the stuff on New Recruit, because you can pull it up and cool, it does this. I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, but so I kind of get what it does, but I need to understand the core rules in order to do it correctly.
Old World has the deepest rules, or the thickest rules books that I think I've seen of almost any game ever.
Mhm.
Like it usually when you're like, I'm gonna read the 40K rulebook, you can read the entire rule section for 40K in under an hour. Like
Yeah.
it's nothing. Like it's a lot of very simplistic wording or very simplified concepts, and then all the complex stuff is in the units themselves. In fantasy, it's kind of the opposite. The rule book is incredibly complex, and the units are fairly simple.
Yeah.
Just because like the way everything works, it's a very heavy morale system, and so knowing all the different times different morales will kick in, knowing what happens when two rectangles are trying to move around each other and there's terrain in the way and there's like a fleeing unit, it gets really, really convoluted really fast.
Mhm.
And so it is not an easy read.
Do you know? Do they still do like the mini booklets for 40K and AOS?
I have no idea.
Because
I would imagine.
I think I still have, it's either 5th or 6th edition, my old
Yeah, the mini rulebooks
Warhammer
used to be really popular.
and I loved having like the mini rulebook. It's like, we cut out all the fluff. Here are the things you need to know. This is how you play. Good to go.
Are you saying you want to buy one of those, or you're just saying you like them?
I like them. I hope they bring them
Okay.
back.
I don't
Because like
know if
I've
they're
looked at,
still or not.
I have like a couple of like I think I have 2nd and 3rd edition AOS rulebooks, and I mean they're pretty hefty. Like they've got a big thick, but it's also like half of it's like lore. Like there's just lore sprinkled in everywhere for you to read.
Yeah, no, there's so much lore in the. It looks like there's not currently an old world version of the pocketbook.
Okay. Well, let's hope. Fingers crossed.
I'm sure you could go through and just like edit out certain pages, and you could probably cut it down to like 100 pages.
Yeah.
But like 40K, you cut it down to like 20 or 30.
When we start playing more and I get time to devote to it, I'm sure someone somewhere has done a index, right? Like they cut out all the fluff, all the needless stuff. For like, here are the exact rules. Here's all the things you need to play, and then I'll just print that out and bring that instead of a rule book I could kill a pigeon with. So
yeah,
Kill a pigeon with. That's a good. It's a good visualization.
Just me chasing the pigeons in the geekery parking lot with a giant rule book. Come back!
I have
here.
to prove it.
But yeah, I'm doing my humming along on the nomadic wall, and I got to figure out what I'll be interested in after that, because I do love orcs and goblins, but from all the shows and stuff I've watched, orcs and goblins are actually a very like thinking man's army because of their rules, where like you have to charge, you don't get an option. And
they have some stuff like that, but it's not everything.
And so I'm like, I don't want to play thinking man. I want to just run at you and smash.
I mean, that's kind of why they have said rule, is so that you have to run at them.
You're
and
forced
smash.
to do it. Because I imagine we'll get Kislev before too long.
Yeah, probably.
And then I can do my glorious horse archer army. That's all I wanted. I almost did that when CJ and I used to play a ton of Lord of the Rings. There was an army called Khand, and they were like, hey man, everyone's on a chariot or on a horse, and you have no limit to the number of bows. And I was like, dude, I want to play that. And then I drew it up, and the models were so old, and they were all metal. It would have cost me $700 to make a Lord of the Rings army. And Lord of the Rings, you can play for like $100.
I was going to say, because like,
it is
you're
a
saying
very
it's about a
cheap
Games Workshop game, and it's like that sounds like the cheapest Games Workshop army I've ever heard of.
Because it's like Lord of the Rings is way more skirmish, right? Like having above 15 models, maybe 20, is considered a lot. That's a lot of models.
Okay.
You basically buy a box, you buy a hero, you buy another hero, you have a full army. Like it costs nothing. But these were like $25 for 2 metal horse archers,
and they're probably just terrible models.
They're terrible models, and the horse archers were like, I needed, like 15 of them or something. And I was like, what is this?
So Parker, which army are you playing?
Yeah, what are you gonna play?
You seem torn between
I heard
Gabos
you ooh and ah
and dwarves and what else?
Oh, I am so torn
and ogres.
because my problem is also Like, I need that lowbrow shit, right? I need something that I can just walk into. I need slap paint. I can't, like, because I really struggle to just paint, to play with a big pile of gray. I'm uninspired to do that. I'm also not going to pay somebody $700 to paint, 80
Yeah.
minis. So, that'd be cheap for 80 minis, actually. But, however, I don't know why I've been pussyfooting around. Clearly, I've been waiting for an excuse to play lizards for a long time. I love lizards. The lizardman aesthetic and dinosaurs. Like, I need to do it eventually. I tried to do it in Blood Bowl. I tried to do it in Mordheim. Like, I always just want to do it. Clearly, I should do it, but I don't know if I will. We'll see. Because talk about like a list that doesn't paint itself. Lizards don't.
They're not nearly the hardest.
But
they're actually pretty easy.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Oh, because I was just saying, like, with lizards, you got like the back tone, the front tone, because they've got like the wider underbellies. You just basically spray can them like blue, right? And then you go through with an airbrush and you just hit the fronts with like a tan, and then you just paint the weapons. Like, that's it. Like, you're so easy.
Also, a couple of videos I watched, the lizardmen take super well to the like contrast kind of paint
because it's not smooth flat areas. It's all textured.
And so it just immediately pools deeper in the cracks between their scales, and then pulls off the scales, and it's like, cool, I did this and it's completely shaded. I don't have to maybe another thin layer to really get it, and you're good to go.
Right. Yeah, I should probably. I know I would love to play like Skinks, Saurus, and their commanders on the dinosaurs, and a Triceratops, and I think they even have like an Apatosaurus somewhere in there now. Like, I
don't know if any of that's legal in Old World, but it might be.
I don't know either.
I'll check.
But
I know the Carnodon was, and I don't know what else was.
There was a Triceratops war engine thing. I remember that.
Engine of the Gods.
I think that's an AOS model.
I think that's on this.
No, it was in the game. I remember it was in the game back when I played
Hardenkosaurus.
Like 8th edition or whatever.
Pterodon Riders, Colwyn Riders, Ripper, Dactyl Riders, Croxagore, which are the ogre-like guys.
Yeah,
Bastillodon.
Croxagores.
Yeah, Croxagores are sweet. The Bastillodon is in Old World. And I don't know if any of these are actually legal.
Also, I have been spoiled because Brandon found the most amazing versions of Lizardmen that I love so much, but they're specifically for Blood Bowl. But those minis, the concept for those Lizardmen, have completely ruined me for all other Lizardmen models. Because I think, even though I love the concept of Lizardmen, I love the Aztec theme, I love the dinosaurs, I'm huge into it. I've always thought the GW minis are a little derpy. They just look a little Play-Doh. Like, they just don't look that great. But I've seen now people, second party people making fantastic stuff. But I haven't seen one with like the old world models, the old world armies and weapons and that kind of stuff yet. So that sounds like a job for Future Parker probably. I'll figure it out eventually. Or Brandon figures it out right now while we're talking.
Well, so I was just checking Army Builder, and there was an update today. Maybe it's not for today, and it just still says it's new. Let me check it again. Hold on. View updates. September 28th. That's pretty recent. So apparently Renegade 1.5 is now on Army Builder. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. But, so do you know what Renegades is, you guys?
No. Yeah.
So there's like a Squared Base podcast that does a lot of old world content.
That's the one I was talking about. That's the other one I listened to is Square Base.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So they did basically an errata pack for the game. Of just like obvious fixes that the creators hadn't kind of gotten to yet. And so they kind of went through and just did broad strokes fixing weird, gimmicky or broken stuff in different armies. And so we've been using that at the store, and I guess they came out with 1.5. But I'm looking up at what it is online, and everybody's saying that it happened like 3 months ago. And so I just don't know if this is new or not.
I think if it's in a list
September
builder,
15th.
It takes time for them to like transfer over to. So
well, it's a big thing. Like Army Builder has to then get a hold of it and put it in the files.
Yeah.
And so somebody has to mess with that. So I'm just gonna skim this real quick. Looks like they're talking about how the biggest update went to Ogre Kingdoms.
While you're reading, I'll mention that one of the hardest parts for me and Old World is the kind of similar thing to 40K, which is I am in love with so much of the fluff of 40 of fantasy as I am with 40K, and every army holds something like fluff wise that I'm really excited for, and because of that, it's really hard for me to choose without getting to like actually play the armies, because at the same time I know that if I picked a list and was like, I really, really love this aesthetic, I really love this like concept and theme, and then I played it and I was like, ugh, I really don't I don't like the way this plays at all. That would frustrate me. I don't know about fantasy because I only played some wood elves way back when. I think I played like 2 games total. I never painted them. I just built them and played with them. I don't know how much the armies feel samey. My memory tells me that a lot of them feel samey on the board. That it really is kind of the skin that you're picking most of the time. They're thematic, but they don't feel very different, because if you want a faster army, almost every army just has the options to put everything on a dragon or a horse or a skeletal horse or a winged nightmare or pick your cavalry model, right? Or every army can be just sit and shoot, or every army can just use big war engines. It feels like all the armies can kind of do what you'd like them to do, and they just have some, a thin layer of theme icing over the top. But everything has the same, everything's cake. Do you guys find it the same way, or in your experience, have you noticed the same thing? That was my observation a long time ago.
So go ahead, Brandon.
I was reading. I only got skimming it. So just to surmise, you said that things basically play very similar, and you're just choosing a skin for your army.
Kind of because there's a layer of theme, sure, right? Like not everybody. Orcs
I know what you mean. I just want to confirm that I didn't miss anything else.
Yeah.
Josh, did you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, so I only played a little bit way back in 5th or 6th edition against Zach, who
terrible opponent,
did not have the patience to learn all of that. But I've kind of followed it, and like I've read the entire Warhammer wiki multiple times, and I think from like I listened to the Square Base, you're not wrong, Parker, when it comes to like basic troops. Everything is fairly similar with a couple different rules, but I think once you get into like leaders and the elite troops, that's where the armies really find their kind of shine, right? Like now you're also correct that like everyone has a heavy armored 2-handed unit for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's got a light, fast unit. Like there are a lot of similar
the
things.
The archetypes exist in most armies.
Yes. But I think it is still each army can be very, very different. A lot of that boils down to your magic and your leaders. But it's it's part of why I wanted to get into it is it's the options that you have. You can really make an army of your dudes. And so I don't know.
No, that's good advice, because I would rather that is what I didn't say that, but I would rather that. I would rather be like, I would rather say, I want to play lizards. I really want to play lizards. Mm-hmm. But when I play, I like to do, alpha strikey lists. So I'll put a lot of lizards that let me do that, right? For example.
Yeah.
Because I won't necessarily feel after I've built the list that I give myself a huge disadvantage by wanting to play Alpha Strike and picking lizards. I would rather be able to say, yeah, I skinned my Alpha Strike list in lizards, right? I would rather that because I like the aesthetic of the list. I like the theme of the army.
So I would, as a analogy, say, think about back in War Machine days, Mark I Warjacks. Is a Crusader that much different than a Juggernaut? They're practically the same thing, right?
Right.
Like there's some functional differences, but they're very minor at the best.
Mm-hmm.
And so of thinking about like, all right, well, there's the generic stripped down baseline heavy with high armor and low defense, and so like, is an ironclad that different than a juggernaut than a crusader?
Right.
No, you could basically interchange them without anybody really noticing. But what's the difference between playing against Khador and Signar? Like, they're dramatically different. They're like, they almost couldn't be further apart, but they still share the same concepts. Like, if you have trenchers versus like the baseline range unit, I guess long gunners versus like Winter Guard Rifle Corps.
Right.
It's like, they're so samey that like it's a skin. And so, but then you go into like how they play on the field and how they play with the synergies of their army. They immediately become drastically different. And so that is closer to Warhammer Fantasy. I will say that I think Warhammer Fantasy has the most customizable army construction of any game I think I've ever played. Like, you could sit down and go, like, I'm doing all chariots. Or next game, I'm doing all mass horde infantry. Next game, I'm doing all super elite heavy infantry. Next, I'm doing all monsters. It's like, that's one army. That's Orcs and Goblins. You can do all of that. I'm doing all artillery. I'm bringing 1,000 points of artillery in this game. You're still playing Orcs and Goblins. Like, you could do basically anything. Like, you do it all Goblin, all Mage team. You can do all Squigs. You can do all Black Orcs that are just, fight them up. And then you can do all Chariots. Like, you can do all monsters with, like, big giant spiders and big dragons and
or
stuff. Like,
literally in the Arcane Journal, Troll Horde.
Yeah,
like,
you just do an army of trolls.
Bring all trolls. By the way, you get a special troll magic list, or a spell list that no one else gets. And it's rad. It's super cool.
And so I think Orcs and Goblins are one of the more flexible armies. They're not the most flexible. They're just a more flexible army. Some armies definitely are more kind of in their own spot. Like Ogre Kingdoms, you're pretty much bringing Ogres or Noblars. That's pretty much it. Vampire Counts are somewhat flexible. They do only kind of have like the two choices. There's like Elite Undead and Shitty Undead. Chaos Warriors are kind of the same way. You either have super elite shit or super crappy shit. And there's kind of like the way you mix it together is important. But like, then you've got the Empire, which is basically the Imperial Guard, if you've ever played 40k. It's the same basic humans, but with every possible specialization and equipment to make them good at one thing or another. Right. And so you're custom building your army to take on what you're like worried about fighting. And so you're like, well, I'm worried about fighting against a bunch of monsters. So you bring a bunch of cannons and a bunch of like great weapon guys. And it's like, all right, I'm gonna be able to chop down whatever I'm worried about. It's like, or I'm worried about people bringing like medium infantry against me, like slow moving heavy infantry. It's like, okay, well, I'll bring a bunch of handgunners, so I'll shoot them down before they get here. And so that way I'm gonna really thin out their numbers before I have to fight them. There's all this stuff you can do. You bring a bunch of wizards. You can bring steam tanks. So you have siege weapons that drive into people. It's like all this different stuff. Or maybe you bring, an emperor on a big giant griffin with a magical hammer that's on the cover of the book. And then I want all these griffin cavalry, which are super elite dudes. Yeah. It's like, so you end up spending all your points on these giant griffin monsters. And so all of that fits within the same faction. And so it's really about how you want to play. And I think if you like the aesthetic of an army and you pick it, the odds that you won't be able to find your playstyle within it is very low.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is one of the things I appreciate about this setting in this game is that really you can pick the theme that you're really excited about, and then the army can be constructed later, or again after you've already bought some models and you want to try something new. Yeah.
So in like we play MCP and War Machine and a bunch of these other games, like how you'll find like one list and you're kind of like just infinitely refine that one list within a faction that you really like. Like, hey, I want to play Spider Foes. Like, well, every time you go to Spider Foes, you're kind of starting with the same core, and then you like build around it with different flexibilities. Maybe you swap out a couple important characters. It's like in fantasy, it's like you could bring 0 of the same models in the next game if you want, and because that's a viable strategy, like people almost never play the same list more than once unless you're practicing for a tournament. But you also need to be able to deal with almost anything that comes at you. So you don't want to build one-dimensional armies. You want to build flexible armies. Because what if you play against all cav? What if you play against a horde of goblins? What if you play against trolls? What if you play against all mages? It's like you got to have all these different tools at your disposal.
There is a very... Like, I haven't built too many lists yet, but like I've watched enough shows. There's a very rock, paper, scissors element to like army building where it's like, okay, I need to bring a rock to beat the scissors. But then I also need to be worried about like the paper that's going to beat my rock. And so you have to have all of that thinking while you do it. And so you can do SKU lists, but from what I understand,
you're gonna hit a bad matchup eventually.
That only exists with like the top competitive players who are like, no, I can just break this thing and crush my opponent. Everyone else is not doing SKU lists and having a grand time because they have a little bit of everything, and you're trying to rock, paper, scissors your opponent to get this unit into that unit. And they're like, why would I ever let you do that? I'm going to throw this unit at you. So, and I think I'm going to really enjoy that kind of concept.
One of my favorite things to do in things like War Machine is to have one of every unit I wanted to bring. And that was not the right way to play War Machine. Oftentimes, especially later when they started doing the dumbass bonuses where you got super bonuses for taking the same unit 5 times. But I really loved playing one of these and one of these and one of these because what I want is when I set up my army, I want it to look like a team, right? I didn't want it to be this, Mr. T, and then Mr. T, T backed up by Mr. T. Like, I thought that looked lame. It just didn't feel right. It's much
finding
more
a picture of an army on parade and then zooming into one little spot and that's my army.
Yeah.
Like, it's all those guys.
Yeah. I want there to be a cool variety to show the gamut on the board, and the fact that you're describing that as being, rewarded in fantasy makes me happy because that's not rewarded in 40K. I found out the 3 times I've played it recently, where every time I just
it's
get
definitely not. It basically find the most abusable thing in your army. Take 3 of it. Find the next most useful thing in your army, take 3 of it. And you do that until you get down to like, I don't have enough points to take the next best thing a third time. Right. Then you take the next best thing you have points for. You're like, that's how you build 40K lists.
And whenever I walk up to a 40K like game with like people who know how to play 40K, I'm instantly disappointed. Because I'm just like, oh, this looks so fucking random. Why are there 3 super mechs, 3 units of, are those like Sisters of Battle, and then 3 Eldar War Mages? Like, what's going on here? It's like, oh well, this is the 3, like you just said. These are the 9 models of the best I could possibly do for the points exactly. I'm like, oh well, that's dumb. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So here's the list I brought to my learner game. It was 2,000 points. I brought Vampire Lord on a horse with a magical sword and a bunch of equipment. He costs about 400 points. Master Necromancer costs 250. 2 Apprentice Necromancers cost 100 points each. Then I've got my White Lord Battle Standard Bearer. He costs 130. A 23-man unit of Grave Guard that costs 270. 4 20-man units of zombies cost 60 points each. 2 Corpse Carts at 130. And then I have a unit of Blood Knights at 240. That was my 2,000 point list.
And see, all that sounds great. Like, that sounds like that makes sense.
Yeah, the unit composition on like what you're allowed to take in fantasy is points based, not like number of choices. And so you must spend 1/4 of your points on core units. And so 25% of your list has to be core units. I've got 4 units of zombies, which is like 240 points, which is not quite enough. But then I also have a White Lord, and for taking White Lord, you can have a unit of Graveguard count as core. And so then that 270 points from that unit then kicks in, and now I've hit my minimum. And then you can only have 25% of your list be rare choices, which for mine was Blood Knights. And then the Corpse Carts are specials, and specials can be up to half your list. And then your characters can also be up to half your list.
Yeah. I was like, mine is 1, 2, 3... 5 characters, a unit of Wolf Riders, unit of Orc Boys, or Boar Boys, unit of Boar Boys, and then a Chariot. And that's 2,000 points.
What I think I'm going to do in the future, instead of having lots of little units of zombies, I'm going to have one big unit of zombies. Because what ended up screwing me was I had way too many zombie units, and they can't march, and so they just kind of gum up my works. Couldn't get them out of my own way.
Yeah.
And so I should just have one big unit that I could always summon into. And also, the bigger the unit, the easier it is to be in range of said unit. And so I was like, well, I could have just had it be like 10 across and like have people within like range 8 of it.
Yeah. And I think that's part of like my list is very much like, cool, man, I'm going to charge you from far away and hit you as hard as possible. and hope that I kill most of your stuff or battle shock you or something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And I have 2 wolf riders that I don't have to deploy, or units that I don't have to deploy at the start of the game, and I can just sit there and be like, when do I bring them in? Nope, not this turn. So
cool. All right, let's get into our Mojo world this week.
Mojo world.
We have spaceships. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. So this week we're going to start off with Parker. Parker, what is your favorite spaceship?
This is going to feel like a super basic answer, but I actually have to, and that's the Enterprise. I have to.
Oh.
The Starship Enterprise, not the
NCC 1701.
Yeah.
Trash.
It was the very first sci-fi thing I ever did, was watch it with my dad. And I was like, that was it. And off to the races.
I can understand liking Star Trek. I'm not a fan personally. I get why people are.
Mm-hmm. I think I probably watched every. Again, I don't remember because I was very little when I did it, but I think I probably watched nearly every episode of Next Generation with my dad.
I have watched every episode of Next Gen. I think I've watched probably 80-90% of Voyager, and very little to none of the original series or Deep Space Nine, which I know everyone says is the best. Okay, good pick. That's a solid pick. I'm going to go with the obvious first pick, Serenity.
Oh, bam. I am
bam,
wrong.
Roasted.
I knew what your answer was going to be, and I hope you were saved. I'm guessing you're not picking.
I go before you.
I know. Okay, I would never pick the actual answer that yours should first. I'm really excited to see if this game will pays off for you. I won't pick it because I don't appreciate it. But let's see if Josh takes.
I have a strong defense for if Josh steals it.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Josh, you're up, sir.
I'm gonna do the Venator class Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer.
Star Destroyer. We'll just do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Star Destroyer on the board.
Round 2 is going to be the Banshee from Halo.
Is it wait.
That's the little.
Yeah, it goes to the hovercraft, right?
No, they're kind of hovercraft. They're the fighter craft that you like climb into like a pod, and then you can fly around.
The Banshee is the one that goes up in the air.
Yeah, and they can fight in space or on the ground. Either way.
All right. That's a terrible pick, but
that's
good job.
Just
but you know what? I fucking love them. I can hear that sound in my dreams sometimes.
Okay.
I played too much.
If Josh wins this week, I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Two of the worst picks.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Banshee is just a bad pick, right? Like, that's just a bad pick.
Hating
I get that you have a nostalgia attachment to it. That's totally fine. I'm not trying to veto your pick. It's just not anything I would pick.
Yeah.
The Star Destroyer, though, in principle, is a terrible spaceship. Like, it is just a giant piece of pizza.
It's a Dorito.
It is so stupid looking.
Cool.
And it gets punked in every scene. Like, it's so stupid.
Did you know that you can actually just use a much smaller ship to push them into each other and they can't lose?
Yeah. Like a tiny, something that weighs like 0.5% of your spaceship. And I know,
there's no weight in space, so
there is weight in space.
There is inertia. There is inertia in space.
Yeah. I had someone tell me that in the expanded universe they clarified that the Star Destroyers are basically made of sheet metal. There's like no mass to them because they rely almost entirely on shields to protect them.
Yes.
And I was like, that kind of makes sense, but that is also stupid.
Explaining
why your ship is terrible does not make it better.
They don't do a good job of showing it, but there is a fuck ton of firepower in a Star Destroyer. Like they're basically just like
no, I get it. They could level
yeah.
anything they point at, right?
Yeah,
I get that, but like we might get to another ship that does the same thing. Okay, I'm going to go next with the obvious next pick. This Battleship Galactica.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't say it, I have to steal it on general
I'm going to defend myself. I personally prefer more Corvette-sized ships. The big giant battleships are cool, but so rarely are they done justice in any kind of media.
Yeah.
Exactly why I couldn't choose a Star Destroyer, because it's not done well in the media. It's the only time it's ever shown to do anything is to get punked. And so it's meant to be this giant terrorizing thing that you overcome. But the Galactica is they flesh it out. It's lived in. Like you see the functionality of the ship itself, and there's so many amazing like emotional scenes attached to it as well. So, which is exactly what an actual space battleship would be like. It'd be like an aircraft carrier, which is exactly what the Galactica is. All right, Parker, you got your back-to-backs.
My first one has to be the SSV Normandy, the ship from Mass Effect.
That's a good call out. Yeah.
Okay.
I love that ship. I love the design so much, and that's another one that you feel lived in because of how key it is to all three of those games. So the Normandy, and the last one is really hard, but I'm going to go with one of my favorite ships ever, the Bebop.
Oh,
the Bebop.
Are you talking about Spike Spiegel's ship?
The Cowboy Bebop, yeah.
It's
the
called
Bebop
the Swordfish 2.
No, the Swordfish 2 is his ship. The Bebop is the name of
their
ship.
Oh, gotcha.
The Bebop.
Yeah, the Bebop is the name of their big ship, the big brown one. They go everywhere.
Oh,
it's just the Bebop.
Okay.
The Swordfish 2.
The Bebop, and it's a restaurant.
The Bebop is the name of the ship. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it is called the Bebop.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could go with the Swordfish 2. It was really close, actually. I have it listed right next to it, but
that was my third pick.
2 E's or 1 E?
One.
It's just 1 E.
Yeah,
Bebop.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll just get a free win this week. I don't know what are you guys doing.
I had to pick something.
There's so many good ones left. Oh my god! I thought for sure you guys have taken 0 off of my lists. Like,
you guys have taken 0 off of mine.
I'm noticing that. We might be like spaceships in the night.
Yeah, we might just pass.
There are 5 just gut punch auto wins left on the board. Oh my god, this is so stupid.
I didn't pick for auto wins. I picked because
I know
picked what I liked.
Yeah. But that's what an auto win is it's a hugely popular and also really cool thing. And so the fact that none of them have been taken is insane to me.
The Enterprise has been taken, sir. That one is.
Yeah, I said what I said. I stand by what I said. God damn. Okay.
Pick one of your home runs, sir.
I literally don't know. Like, I never thought this many would be left. So I think I should take this one, my first one on my list.
Yeah.
But this one is so iconic. How do you not pick it? Oh my god. I'm going to choose this one just, I think, on a technicality, and I'll try and veto the other one if you guys try and take it. I'll go with the Millennium Falcon.
Okay. Yeah.
What the hell is an aluminum Falcon?
That I almost said aluminum Falcon.
Yeah.
for the memes. All right, Josh, your final pick.
The Slave one.
Yeah, that was on my list. Although it was the lowest on my list. Good pick. It is a really cool ship. I think it's a little too small for me.
It's also a little nonsensical. Like, I think the cockpit has to like rotate when he lands.
I actually really like that because that shows that they're like it's been designed in a way to make it like multi-use.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have enough living space on it. Like, if you're going to all these like faraway places, even at faster than light travel, it takes them like weeks or days to get to places. And you're just like, I have a chair. And then I have to be here without a bathroom for like 3 days. So, like, what are you talking about?
Well, see, that's
seems ridiculous.
That's kind of what I liked what they did, which will be, I guess, a future call. But in the Mandalorian with the Razor Crest, he has like a full house in
exactly.
There. Like he's got
agree.
From the outside, you're like, it's not that big, and then you looked at it and you're like, no, he's got like a bathroom and like a living quarters and like a whole fucking armoring as well. Like
perfect size because it can be a solo vessel, it can be a crewed vessel, it can be used for all these different jobs, which is the same reason I love the Serenity because it's just like it's the perfect mix. But Serenity isn't a combat vessel, obviously; it's just a commercial vessel.
Yeah.
My version of that was the Milano. I love the Milano too for that reason. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the
That's the Guardian's ship. And then it was the Bowie later, but the Milano was his first one. I like that one. I like the design of the Milano more.
Okay, so we talked about Slave 1 and Razor Crest. Those are both good ones. I think that this is like a question mark, might be able to be taken. I wanted to say the TARDIS from Doctor Who. But it's so fantastical that it's like it's just beyond all reason.
Yeah,
it's like a black hole ship. Like it's just like you can't really like account for it. it is a really cool ship, but it's also overdone in a lot of pop culture.
Yeah. Also, it doesn't travel through space, right? It travels in between
It
space.
does. It is a spaceship.
Oh, it can't travel
it flies
through space?
around. Yeah. No, he
okay.
flies it around. But again, it's more of like a teleporting time vessel than
Right.
it is a spaceship. But it
Yeah.
is a spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so science fantasy. It's off the rails, right? So it feels like it's not fair to put it in the category with the other ships. Then the one that I wanted to take, but I decided not to, is Death Star. But it's more of a space station than a spaceship.
It looks like a moon.
It does look like a moon.
My only Star Wars one, and I actually just went to the tip top of my Star Wars list, is one I could not pick because it was an auto loss, so I didn't pick it. Is an E-wing?
Naboo Starfighter.
No, it was the E-wing, and the
E-wing.
The
What's wrong with
E-wing.
the E-wing.
The E-wing is the ship that the very first time I ever played a Star Wars. Sorry, the second time I played a Star Wars video game. My first Star Wars video game was Pod Racer, but the second Star Wars video game I ever played was Rogue Squadron 2. And that was the first time I ever interacted with the E-wing, and I flew it only, and I played that game so much, and I only used the E-wing, and then it was discontinued. Like all of the E-wing lore was taken out of the canon until it just got put back in with the Ahsoka show. The E-wings show up in the Ahsoka show, which made me super happy. So, but yeah, E-wings are back and they exist again. But that's still my favorite one ever. My other honorable mentions, I had a Halo one also, the UNSC Pillar of Autumn, the original Pillar. Captain Keyes is my spirit animal. He's amazing. And my two Marvel ones, I had two Marvel ones. One was the Milano, and the other one was Scuttlebutt, which is Peter Ray Bill's AI ship.
Isn't that like their whole like civilization ship?
It's like it's got their collective knowledge on it.
Okay.
Because the civilization was destroyed by Surtur, but it's got like the collective knowledge of his whole civilization still on it.
What an asshole!
Yeah, what a dick.
That guy is a fucking dick.
Yeah, just goes around fucking shit up.
Alrighty. I think it's a good list. I think it'll get a lot of comments.
My two that I almost did, one was kind of similar to the Death Star. I almost said the Phalanx from 40K, which is the Imperial Fist's floating space monastery that is just strapped with guns to the side, and it's like it's literally a circle, and they just float it through space, destroying whatever they want. Or the Vengeful Spirit, which is Horus's or Abaddon's warrior.
There's a lot of famous ships from 40K.
But I was like, those are cool, but you've only seen them in like really, I don't want to say obscure media, but like they just haven't had a
like
good
random video game clips or
like a good
books.
visual representation. So
I know The Abyss is another famous one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you had a good time. This has been Brandon.
And Parker.
And Josh.
And you've just listened to Yo Dawg, I Heard You Like Spaceships.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.